Do you want to experience maximum success when it comes to trout trolling? If you do, integrate trolling flies into your arsenal. Go on over to fishhuntshoot.com and pick up one of Kel Kellogg's signature series trolling fly kits today, and you'll be yelling "Fish on" tomorrow. Hello folks, today I'm coming to you from one of my favorite reservoirs. I'm up at French Meadows Reservoir in the Tahoe National Forest. This is a great place to catch brown trout and rainbow trout. I haven't been here yet this year, so I really don't know what to expect. The lake is full. It hasn't been full in a number of years. I'm out here on a prominent point on the backside of the lake. I've got two rods rigged up. I've got this one armed for standard bait fishing with a sliding sinker rig. I'm going to put a night crawler on that one. And I've got this one armed with a Yo-Zuri L minnow, which is basically a sinking minnow bait. It's about a little over 2 inches long. It's a rainbow pattern bait. So I'm going to toss out a night crawler inflated, and then I'm going to do some fan casting with the Yo-Zuri, and we'll see what happens. Okay, I'm baited up and ready. I got a fat night crawler on there. Got it inflated with air. I'm out on a point, and behind me there's lots of submerged structure. I've seen it when the lake is down. I've caught several nice browns here, including a couple over 5 pounds, so I'm hopeful that they're going to be cruising here. One of the challenges we have today is it's a full moon, and trout fishing's never at its best during a full moon, but hopefully we'll do well. So let me toss this out and we'll see if anything's out there that's looking to feed. When soaking bait from the bank, you always want to consider the water temperature and the depth. You don't want your bait sitting in water that is too deep or too cold to hold trout. Okay, on my second cast, I had a nice brown trout come up and hit right below me. I didn't hook the fish, so I'm going to keep on casting. But a couple good points to know when you're plugging like this. You want to fan cast, and because I got a sinking bait, you want to work the depths. But I was right under the surface, and I was ripping the bait a little bit. So let's fire it back out there again and see if that fish will come back. That was really exciting. So what I was doing, they'll hit a minnow bait like this on a steady retrieve, but what I was doing is I was going steady, and then I would pop it a couple times. And that fish followed it right up to my feet. He was probably 16, 17 inches long. He was a nice trout. So I probably made a dozen and a half casts with the Yo-Zuri. Got no more responses. So I'm going to switch up. I'm putting on a chrome and blue 1/4 ounce Castmaster. This is a little more appealing to rainbow trout in my experience. So we'll see if there's some rainbows out here. But it was good seeing that brown. Hopefully one's going to cruise around here and grab that worm or something. But we'll see if they like this Castmaster. I've always found Castmasters to be deadly spoons for shore casting. They work when you're trolling them too, but I've done really well with them casting off the bank. They cast really well, and they've got good action through a variety of retrieve speeds. You can retrieve them pretty fast, or you can just barely slow roll them along. Another great application is you can jig with them. I've been on docks and stuff before where I'm vertical jigging a Castmaster. They work really well. I've done well like that at like Lake Shasta and different places. But just drop it down, pop it up, pop it up, pop it up, and it really excites the fish. It looks like a dying bait fish, and very often you can generate a strike that way. Okay, we'd seen some fish hitting on the surface. I had 2 bait rods out, so I switched back to the Yo-Zuri minnow plug, and we got a decent brown here. So I'm going to work my way over here and kind of get the fish up on the shore. I don't have a net, but he's 12-inch brown. He's a nice fish. He's a good start to the day. Oh, that's going to be dinner. Feisty. But my first trout of the year at French Meadows Reservoir. Beautiful brown. That fish is going home for dinner. All right. See if I can catch another one, but he jumped all over that Yozuri El minnow, a little rainbow pattern. First cast. Awesome. Okay, so there's the bait I was using. It's a small Yozuri El minnow. It's a slow sinking minnow plug. It's a rainbow pattern. But there's a lesson to be learned by that. We got here early. We weren't catching anything. We had one nice fish chase the El minnow, a larger version. Then I switched to a Castmaster, no response on that. So I put out 2 bait rods. Well, I reeled in to check the worm. I got snagged, broke off the hook, but all of a sudden a trout ran up and he grabbed the sinker. I couldn't believe it. We didn't get any of that on film, so I thought, well, I rebaited up. I put a new hook on, put a new worm out there. And while I was doing that, we saw a couple fish hit on the surface, kind of roll. So I put on another, I put on Yell minnow, which is a smaller version of what I was using before, and first cast. So what I think happened, I think the fish were lethargic first thing in the morning, but now the sun's up, they seem more active, so hopefully we'll catch some more. But don't be afraid to switch from lures to bait and back again, depending on what you see. And when I saw that fish come up and hit the sinker, I felt like they were getting more aggressive, and when I saw a couple of them break on the surface here, it kind of confirmed that. So that worked out. Nothing else, I got dinner, so we'll go from there. We'll be back momentarily. Trout rods, salmon rods, striper rods, halibut rods, downrigger rods, lead core rods, spinning rods, and more. If you want a high quality, high performance rod that won't let you down out on the water, go to fishhuntshoot.com and check out our selection of high quality, high performance fishing rods. I don't know if we got a fish on here or not, but I was setting up another rod and this one just got slammed. Oh yeah, he's there. I'm going to feed him a little bit of line. This is a big night crawler. So give the fish a little bit of line. I don't know how well he's got it. I was setting up another rod and this one just fell over. And I suspect he's hooked, but we'll see. I'm going to reel slowly, and when I feel a fish, I'm going to set. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's some submerged grass down there and I'm in it. I can feel it, but I definitely have the fish. I'm not going to force him. I'm going to let him work his way out of it. I think he just came free. No, I can see the weed flex. I can see the trout though. Nice fish. Dang. Oh, no, he's not that big. He'll be a good eater though. Another beautiful brown. Let's see. I'm going to have to lift this fish. This isn't the optimum way to do this. This is one of the reasons though I'm using 10-pound fluorocarbon, which the fish can't see, but it really opens you up to landing fish like this. So here we go. And just like that. So there we go. There's fish number 2. We're working on a limit. We're going to... Wow, they are fighters. We're going to have some good meals here tomorrow. I'll cook these up, but beautiful fish. High Sierra brown trout. French Meadows pays off again. This is awesome. Didn't get any better than that. This one gobbled that night crawler down. He swallowed it really deep. So good deal. We need 3 more and we're out of here. As the longtime editor of the Fish Sniffer magazine, I've had quite a few people ask me about the line I use for trout fishing, so I thought I'd take a moment to go over it. Here's the actual rod you see me fishing up at French Meadows. This is the rod I was using to fish the worms. It's a Cousin Tackle, 7'6" spinning rod. I've got an Abu Garcia Cardinal reel on there, and what you see is I've got it spooled up with moss green 8-pound test trilene big game line. Now, I don't spool up with fluorocarbon line, because fluorocarbon sinks, and I'd rather have my line either float a little bit or have neutral buoyancy for most applications. I use the moss green for invisibility. I don't use clear line because I'm really trying to match the color of the line to the color of the background. You think about the bottom of a lake, it's going to be mossy, it's going to be greenish, so I want the line to blend in with the background. Now, on the leader, I like to run with fluorocarbon line. And what I was using up at French Meadows, I was using this Trilene 100% fluorocarbon in 10-pound test. Now, in speaking with the engineers at Berkeley, I've learned that fluorocarbon line reflects light at roughly the same rate as water does. So it renders it nearly 100% invisible to the fish, and that's important. Back in the old days, before we had fluorocarbon line, to get total, invisibility when the fish were really finicky, we'd have to drop down to leader material that was maybe 4-pound test, maybe even 2-pound test. And as you can imagine, you hook a big fish on that, or you're dealing with some rocks and other cover like you are when you're bank fishing, you can have a hard time landing a fish and you can break off some really big fish, and nobody likes to do that. Since fluorocarbon is virtually invisible to fish, it allows me to use heavier leader material. These days I use 8 or 10-pound test, and it works great. The fish can't see it. I get just as many strikes as I used to get on the lighter line, and when I'm fighting fish, or when I'm landing fish especially, and when I'm bank fishing, you often don't have a net, and even if you did, the water's shallow, it doesn't work that great. A 10-pound leader, I can grab the leader, I can lift the fish unless they're super big, or I can drag them right up on the bank. I land them, I don't lose them, they can't see it. Invest in some fluorocarbon. Don't spool up with it, just use it for leader material. You want to spool up with standard monofilament or copolymer line, and you'll do great. Got a nice fish here on the worm. He's snagged on the bottom. We'll see if he works it out. We saw some really big fish in the water, so got my fingers crossed. Okay. Sometimes when you get a fish hung up like this when you're bank fishing, the best thing you can do is give him slack. The fish is hooked. We'll see if he'll get it out. There's some things we can do. If the fish doesn't get it out, I'll try walking left and right up the shore, but you don't just want to pull on it and break him off. So we'll see if we can get this fish out. I'm actually going to give him free spool. Well, that was a productive morning of fishing. I landed 2 nice fish, I lost a big one in the rocks, and I missed a couple other bites. I saw some really nice fish swimming by, so I'm likely going to come back up here. I think I'm going to do an afternoon trip, maybe come up here about 3 o'clock and fish until dark. But until then, I'm heading home. I'm going to have a nice trout dinner tomorrow, and all in all, it was a great day at French Meadows Reservoir.